this time last year, you really had to do something entering the final third. You probably have to do something this year too, maybe not as much. And it started against this very team. You were coming off a bad loss. They were coming off a huge win, and you really, especially in the first half, kind of destroyed them. Is that in anybody's mind?
No, I mean, we're aware of it because it's been brought up throughout the week, and I think they were, I don't know what they were at that point, something like 12-1 or something like that, and our record wasn't favorable. I think we had only won maybe a third of our games at that point. So, yeah, you always draw from experience, but it has no bearing on what's going to happen, this week or this year or this year's team. We really are just, approaching it a lot like we did last year, and that's just the game in front of us. And for the next, we know what the schedule is down the stretch, but we're not looking past this Saturday.
Zach's coming into town. What can you say about him? So he's coming off probably one of the best first halves anybody's ever played in a quarterback in this league.
Yeah, I mean he's great for a reason. He's done well at all his stops when he's remained healthy. Mainly obviously in Toronto and his time here and his time in Winnipeg. That's not to diminish his other stops in between, but. This is, we know. It's not just Zach, though. I mean, their O-line, they're well coached. They execute well in 3 phases. That's why their record is what it is. And we know we're going to have our hands full, but, there's so much to focus on there, but it can't detract from us focusing on ourselves.
Focusing on yourselves. And when I don't know what the film showed, but it looked like there was some improvement in the offensive line last week, especially with the tackle getting a little more under his belt. Is that more reps this week? Does that give you, you're going against a rare combination of defensive ends here.
Yeah, no, you put on tape and they're productive. There's no doubt about it. And their production leads to, the secondary and backers being able to fly around and be free and mix up their coverages and generate things. And then when your offense scores points, you can take more chances that way. So, I think part of you're probably relaying to the analytics and that we had less sacks, but I think part of that goes to the quarterback too of getting rid of the ball. So it kind of goes hand in hand, and sometimes you're right on the coverages and the reads, and sometimes you do have to eat it, and that's the best decision. Last week it just worked out better for us that it didn't show up in the analytics stat column, but I do think that we did play better collectively up front.
Yeah, this is. I'm just trying to think what else. Are you able to say what's happening with your 2 defensive backs? So that's the weak or the strong side. Guys appear to be down.
Yeah, it'll be a decision that's made later on, but we rested them on purpose. And it's just that we're at that point in the year when you don't need to push through anything. This is the final stretch, and so your health does matter. So we're going to rest people when we're choosing between 2 things, even if it messes with the continuity a little bit. But I wouldn't worry or read too much into that at this point.
When you say rest, do you mean from this?
Practices,
right,
yeah.
Not we don't know yet, but right.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying with any of our people at this point in time, whether it's, unless they have to be in there and it's position specific, we're going to err on the side of resting them and making sure we're a little bit more fresh than maybe saying we needed to get these reps in.
Right. What about Dylan?
Yeah, Dylan won't play this week. Yeah, Dylan will be out this week. There's a guy that we'll rest. We'll need him down the stretch.
Right, so we expect him back for down the stretch.
Oh yeah, we think Dylan will be back. It's just it's too short of a time frame for this week for Dylan.
Where does Matt sit?
Yeah, Matt, he'll suit again. He should be available to play. I would suspect. Again, we're waiting on that. That's sometimes these decisions aren't up to the coaches. Sometimes they're up to the doctors and the therapists, and oftentimes it's a combination. Oftentimes people can be cleared, but maybe when you get them on the field, they don't look like they're ready to go. Matt's trending in the direction of possibly being an option.
Have some plays.
That's where it's trending. We won't make that decision today or tomorrow.
And one final one here. We'll be talking to Carfell. What can you say about him? I mean, he was on pace to set the league record for special teams tackles. He's just off that pace now.
Yeah.
What's he need?
Well, I think he benefited from great special teams play from others. He was a relatively unknown, and he wasn't being doubled. There was less attention, and credit him for making those plays. And then you go through those stages where teams sometimes opt to double you. And when that happens, somebody else has to step up. And so, he really was the beneficiary of, maybe of O'Shawn Joseph early, definitely a Kyle Wilson, some of these other guys that are in, and I'm just talking about the DIs. I mean, it goes across the board with our whole special teams unit. And Sopik was out there and Feltmate, and I don't want to name people, but you get what I'm saying but now his name's out there, so he's going to have to create. And if he is getting doubled or getting special attention, maybe drawing the best matchup, somebody else needs to step up. And I can just say he's just young and wily, loves contact, loves football, and wants to be great. So we'll see what that means down the stretch.
You've got him listed as a linebacker.
Yeah.
The defensive back too, do you think, or is he?
I think he's a football player.
Okay.
I think he's a football player.
Okay. Could he play?
Yeah, I think he could probably play Sam. He could probably play Free. He could probably play Will. He's a guy that, again, he just loves to play, and so this is a natural progression. We've seen other players come through, our organization that were similar to him, and the game still needs to slow down for him a little bit, but special teams, there is no slowing down, so it's perfect for Carthel.
Just one last thing, just as a Hall of Famer yourself, and lots of friends in there, it's a Hall of Fame weekend. Mean anything?
Yeah, just congratulations to all of them. I think it's a special time. It's to everybody else, the world and everything else goes on, but it's a big moment in time for a lot of people, and I think for them to feel that special feeling again after, because when you leave the game, it's done. And then you kind of get to relive it one more time, and people are talking about you again, and you're a focus. And I think that's a big deal, not just for the player himself or the person, but for the family, and which is likely grown, and everybody else involved. So it's always an exciting weekend. There's nothing personal for us except for respecting the weekend, educating our players on all those people that came before us. And other than that, I just congratulations to everybody and hope they enjoy.